When I was 16, one of my best friends confided in me that she had been sexually assaulted by a man 6 times her age. She was 10 at the time. My life changed. I became consumed with the subject. I started asking everybody I knew point blank if they had experienced sexual assault and how they dealt with it. So why does this still continue to be a problem? The answer is silence. When I was 9 years old, I asked my parents what sex was. And they told me that it was a pollen, a love pollen that would float between the air when 2 people loved each other enough. When I was 13, I found out how it actually worked. I was traumatized, to say the least. But it took me till the age of 15 to find out what rape and sexual assault were. When I was 16, one of my best friends confided in me that she had been sexually assaulted by a man 6 times her age. She was 10 at the time. It was the first time I learned that someone I knew, somebody I loved, had been assaulted. That moment changed my life. When I learned that humans are forced to have sex, that there is an actual industry built around it, my life changed. I became consumed with the subject. I started asking everybody I knew point blank if they had experienced sexual assault and how they dealt with it. And as I asked more and more, I realized how much silence surrounds the subject. I discovered that people who have been sexually assaulted are ashamed. They are ashamed of an act that was committed against them. And that is what I am here to talk about. I am here to change your mindset, because as long as our focus is still on what the victim is doing wrong, nothing will change. We have to focus on the real problem. And what is the real problem? The real problem is the way that our culture and society deals with this issue, or doesn't deal. The real problem is us. We live in a world where we teach don't get raped instead of don't rape. And that is what needs to change. We need to stop asking questions like, what were you wearing? Were you drinking? Or even making accusations like, you know what those guys were like when someone is assaulted. We need to stop blaming the victim. So I've been told that this is a very, very popular subject right now in India. So you may be wondering why this young girl from America is talking about something that she hasn't even experienced. I've been wondering the same thing. What I do know is I live in a world where my friends are sexually assaulted before they hit puberty. What I do know is that almost half of all sexual assault victims are under the age of 18, which makes me and my friends the biggest target. What I do know is I haven't seen change, and I want to. So why does this still continue to be a problem? The answer is silence. Silence on our parts. Silence on the victim's part. Silence on the law's part. Every single person, every single survivor that I have talked to has said the most important thing that our world can do right now is talk about it. Make it a subject that people don't feel ashamed about, a subject that isn't taboo. If this one step is achieved and our world makes this something that isn't pushed under the rug, everything will change. Survivors will feel safe talking about their story. Therefore, more assaults and rapes will be reported, and we can make this a safe world for our kids. Here's the next thing. Sexual assault is not really a girl's issue. It's a guy's. I love men, okay? I really, really, really don't want you to think that I am anti-male or male bashing in any way, because that is far from the case. But the majority of sexual assault is committed by men. towards men and women, and they are the men that we know, they are friends and family. And the sooner we realize that the perpetrators aren't the monsters that we imagine, the better. I was lucky enough to give this talk before graduating the Green School in Bali. And the really incredible part was what happened afterwards. People who I had never met before came to me and told me their stories. And it was in those moments that everything began to make sense. I saw firsthand that people want to tell their stories, but they have been silenced. They feel afraid. They don't know how. I learned that talking helps. Silence debilitates, and I knew that the impact couldn't stop there. So I dug deeper. I researched every solution and campaign that has been presented. I wanted this message to reach farther, beyond the bamboo jungle of the Green School. What really became obvious to me was the power of social media. It's the perfect platform to spread the word and foster an environment that encourages people to share. So I created the hashtag Breaking the Silence movement. The idea is to create your own unique poster with a slogan on it like, "It's not sex when she's wasted," "Make it your mission to first get permission," "No means no," and share it online with the hashtag. After starting it, the results have truly been incredible. I now receive messages from people all over the world who tell me their stories and thank me for talking about something that people never do. People just want to be heard, but few are listening. So I stand here today and I ask you to listen. I'm not here for your money, for you to go to this website or buy this product. I am simply here to ask you to listen and realize what the real problem is. Even though I'm young, I still feel like I have a responsibility to my younger sister and brother, because if we don't end this, we will be leaving it up to them. And this is not a legacy that I want to leave. I don't believe that I can end this, but I do believe that we can. Thank you.